Where would you start when trying to learn a new skill like a language, programming language, marketing, etc., from complete scratch? Okay, so this stuff, I always stress out a little bit on this, to be honest, because when I'm at the beginning of learning something, I like to figure out where are the boundaries, like how much do I need to know? And I honestly procrastinate a little bit at the beginning because there's too much that I don't know, and I don't know how much I need to know. And that phase doesn't last too long. I know, for some people they never get started on learning because they procrastinate so much. But I look at what's something I learned recently. Crypto, for example. I wanted to learn more about crypto. It seemed overwhelming at the start because I knew nothing. And I didn't know where the lines were. Like, how much do I need to know right now? Like, what are the beginning basics to get me started? Okay? So I often will procrastinate a little bit and stress out at the beginning a little bit before actually getting started on something. As soon as I can catch myself procrastinating or being afraid or coming up with some reason why I can't do it, then I immediately jump into action mode. And usually my first step is a video because I'm a visual learner. So I would encourage you to figure out, how do you learn best? I'm a visual learner, so again, go try to find videos. Here's a great example. Nina and I are, well, mostly me, and I'm teaching Nina as we go, but she's curious about learning. We're learning about debt structures, proper use of debt to build wealth. And traditionally, I've always been raised that, hey, debt is bad, but rich people use debt a lot of times, and it's a fantastic way to build your wealth. And so what did I do? I started watching a whole bunch of videos on it. And we just spent the last weekend at my parents' cottage, because it's Thanksgiving here in Canada, which is a holiday where you give thanks. And so we spent an hour and a half driving one way, an hour and a half driving the other way, and I loaded up a playlist of videos to watch that talked about the key concept that I wanted to learn about, which is called buy, borrow, die. That's the strategy that I want to learn on. So I got every video that I could find on YouTube about it. I loaded our playlist full, and as I drove, we had the videos on. We skipped some of them, we listened to some of them. We didn't get through the whole playlist, but once you start learning, you realize, the basics are actually not that complicated. You start to get a sense of the language and the lingo and like what things mean, which allow you to play on the next level, right? So it's not just absolute total beginner. And we have a good sense now. And that in that 3-hour car drive, we learned a lot. And it's funny how quickly you could learn if you want to, once you get out of your head that I can't pick this up, right? So we went from learning, knowing nothing about it, to not being experts, but being knowledgeable enough to be able to explain it to somebody else, which is good. That's a good starting point. So that's what I normally do. We start with procrastinating, and it's unintentional. It's just human nature. When you're afraid of something and you don't know something, you will default to procrastinate. You catch it, then you slip into action mode. And action mode should be based off of what is your preferred learning style. In my case, it's videos. And so then go and start watching channels or content around it. And then the next step is any videos that I liked how the person presented it, I'll go look at what else they have on their channel. And if there's enough similar themes on it, I will subscribe to the channel. Why is that important? It's because it starts to change your environment. Because now whenever I go to YouTube, I'll start seeing them in my subscription feed as well, and increase the likelihood that I will, click on another one of their videos to continue to educate myself. So that's the 3-step process. Step number 1, you're going to procrastinate, and you need to recognize that you're procrastinating and push yourself into action mode. Step number 2 is however you learn best, just start, and you get a sense of where the lines are and how much you need to know. So for me, it's video. And then step number 3 is try to create some kind of ongoing structure so that you continue to learn without having to think about it. So that if I subscribe to somebody's YouTube channel, it's going to automatically come and fill up my feed. And then I'm by default always going to have it on my mind, even though it's not a conscious decision every time. Because if you have to wait for you to be motivated or bring it into your conscious, you're less likely to stay consistent on it.